Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV, and this is the match review from yesterday's game at the Etihad Stadium. And I'm delighted to see I'm joined by Paul. How are you, Paul?
All good, all good. I like the video. I think I know who made that. It's very nice.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent work from Chris. Absolutely.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, he's got a style that I recognise. So really cool.
Yeah, excellent, isn't it? So yeah, brilliant for him to do that for me. But before we get into the show, if you do like what you see, then follow Sean the Sheep and hit them like buttons, please. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come join this great community we got here, and also hit that notification bell. It tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. You can do that by clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, you can do that in the chat by clicking the $ with all money reinvested back into the channel. Before we get into the game, first of all, I just want to say well done again to Newcastle. Becky Lang made 3 changes at half time. She made 3 changes at half time, and Newcastle won it. The kick of the game, 3-2. So well done, and almost, I think now they're almost guaranteed that promotion to the championship. So well done, the lasses, and they have a break next week because they got the cup final against #United, and I shall be there. So I will be doing a vlog from there. So do keep an eye out for that as well. Liverpool have equalised now in the FA Cup tie, but it's been ruled offside. But that'll be checked.
Yeah, Liverpool have been poor, man. They've been really poor. They've made them Man United. They made Man United look good. Dear me.
Haven't they just? Yeah, haven't they just? Yeah, so yesterday we travelled to Man City, and the team sheets came out, and that was Man City's team lineup there. We knew they made a change in goal because obviously Edison is an injury, and Grealish was on their bench, and that was our team lineup yesterday. That's Anthony Gordon in the lineup, but it was a lineup that confused a lot of people, because we weren't sure what formation we were actually playing, but it proved we were playing with a back 5. So that was the lineup we went with yesterday. What was your thoughts on that lineup, Paul, when you saw it?
What? What we doing? We were all like, hang on, sorry, is Dan Burn a left wing back then, or what? Or where's Murphy playing? Is he playing a right wing back? Is he not? It was very strange. And then Eddie Howe was referencing after the game that he saw Gordon as the second striker, and it was like, I saw no proof of that in the tactics yesterday. He would claim that was his idea, to have Gordon as a second striker with Isaac, which, again, like, okay, then I know Gordon can play through the middle. I don't like him there, but as a second striker, that's a bit weird. And it never proved that. I mean, Gordon didn't look fit, to be fair. And it was very much back to the wall. It really was. Like, at the minute from kickoff, really, we were already in the back 5, camped, just hoping that City wouldn't score. The usual sort of scared tactics we use, which is frustrating. We did it at Arsenal, which annoys me. Just frustrating that we can have a go at these teams and we just look too scared at times to do it. And that's very frustrating because City, I'm sorry, they didn't look at it yesterday. Didn't have to really, but they didn't look like they were out of first gear. Really, they didn't look that bothered about the game. So it's a shame, isn't it? It's just an opportunity missed. If we put any sort of intensity into that game, you just never know. You just never know what happens. But I think we're negative from the off, and it just kind of the whole game was very negative. Their goalkeeper, apart from one save, he could have had a deck chair out for most of it, couldn't he? He could have been in Dubai on the beach, because he had nothing to do. Dubravka was one, obviously more busy. But again, it's not as if Dubravka was that busy either. Man City just kept the ball, killed the game with possession as they always do. And the goals were the goals were lucky, but you have to make your own luck. And the thing that frustrates all of Newcastle fans is we don't bloody shoot. And that's the frustrating thing. Yes, it's annoying they got a deflection twice, but if we bother to try and shoot, maybe we get a deflection. Do you know what I mean? If Burn just tries his luck, or Isaac gets a better touch in the second half there, if it flicks off a Man City player and goes in, I don't care. I don't care if it goes off a Man City player. We're due some luck because every bounce never goes to us either at the moment. We're in that patch of form where if it bounces off a Man City player, it goes straight to a Man City player. If it bounces off us, it goes straight out or whatever. We're just in that vein of form where nothing seems to go our way. And Eddie's just looking like a man lost. He does. He looks really lost. His interview at the end was very strange, talking about football gods out against Newcastle. He looks a man under a lot of pressure. I'm not saying I know this for a fact, but I do wonder whether the hierarchy have told him if you don't get any Europe, you kind of, we'll have to have a chat at the end of the season, because he looks like a man under a lot of pressure, like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he certainly does at the moment, and some of his interviews of late have been a bit weird, to say the least. When he's coming out and saying things like, like against Chelsea, there was some good stuff in there, and it was like, well, I don't think we were that great, if I'm honest. And I'm just trying to work out where Eddie's coming from on that one. But but yesterday we went there. We weren't hopeful of getting any wins there at all, were we? We thought, well, we'll go there and we'll probably get beat. I did see my heart said we would win 2-1, but my head says we'll get beat 4-1. But look, Bernardo Silva scores the first one with a deflection. Does it come off Willock and then Burn? And, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It was a deflected shot. It looked over Dubravka. He had no chance to get near it, and it was in the back of the net. It was 1-0, and you thought, right, okay, this is the start now. How many is it going to be? Then they go 2 up with another Bernardo Silva deflection off Botman when he flicked it with his head. And you're kind of thinking at 2-0, oh, this is game over now, because, they'll just move into another gear now and they're just going to be rampant. We did sort of come into the game a little bit. And I mean, look, Isak had that shot, but in all honesty, Isak should be putting that in the back of the net. That should never have been too comfortable for the keeper. It was far too close to Ortega. He should have, if he puts it either side of Ortega, it's in the back of the net and it's 2-1, and then it's a different game.
Yeah.
Second half, I just wanted to see a bit more fire in the belly from us, and we saw nothing at all. It was just same old. This shot we had in the second half was off target, obviously, but Liverpool have just equalised, by the way. Not sure who's just scored, but I think it could be Harvey Elliott. Oh, no, it's not. It's McAllister.
Goalkeeper been better there.
Yeah, he should have done, shouldn't he? But so I mean, look, we looked lacklustre in that second half. We didn't look very good at all. Man City was strolling around, just passing it about. There was a period where we didn't have the ball for 10 minutes in that game. But Man City were just strolling about as if it was a training session, as if they were just on the training field, just passing the ball about with each other. And it was embarrassing. Even at 2-0 down, I wanted to see us, come out and have a go firing at them. I know Derek sort of said in the reaction on Chris's channel last night when I suggested that, oh yeah, but if we do that, we'll get hammered. And I said, well, yeah, but in some ways, if we'd got beat 4 or 5-0, but we'd had a right go at them, I wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't feel so bad about it, because I think, well, at least we've tried, we've had a go. But the fact we did not have a go at them at all, and it took Dubravka to make 2 or 3 good saves, And if it wasn't for Dubravka, we would have lost that game 4 or 5-0 quite easily. And it would have been 4 or 5 quite easily. So
and
yeah,
Doku to finish, because he looks a bit stressed in front of goal, and he kind of swipes at things a lot. So if he had a better finish on him, because he swiped at a few things, didn't he? If he's got a better finish, that's a few goals. And Haaland, he did look. I don't know what Haaland didn't look fit to me. I'm not a Man City fan, but he didn't look right yesterday. Do you mean like he wasn't like, he was in on goal a few times and kind of, unusual for him missing, and he wasn't really as usual, bothers himself yesterday. I didn't feel. I didn't really recognise him in the match, which is a weird one for him. So I don't know if there's I know he's come back from injury, but I don't know if he's back. Maybe a bit like Isak, is he back 100% fit or not? I mean, I'm glad he wasn't, because again, a fully fit Haaland is it's a scary prospect for any team, not just Newcastle. I mean, he's a great. Some of his finishing is just ridiculous. It's like a robot. So
yeah.
I'm glad that he had an off game. But the thing that's frustrating for a lot of fans is that Eddie makes a change on the same minute. It's as if AI is writing it sometimes. The joke was that it's 60th minute now will change. And Lewis Hall, who's this? Does he exist? He does. Yeah. He's a real human being, and he brings them on, and in the first couple of seconds, he does more in the game than Dan Burn has in the whole of the half, and makes a difference. And Sean comes off, and Anderson comes on and looks good. Miley comes on and looks a bit better. It just had a bit of injection of youth and pace, and a bit of let's try something. Who knows? Like, who cares? Like, and that was it. That was the one positive I'll take from yesterday, is that those guys came on and looked a bit more, for a bit more endeavour and a bit more up for it. So that's something. But the thing is, we've got 2 weeks off now. Obviously, we're going to Dubai, most of the team. 2-1 to Liverpool now, Salah. Most of the team's going to there. And I just wonder whether, is he going to be, I was talking with Roy about this, because we're going to have some players back by those 2 weeks. I'm assuming Trippier will probably be fit enough. Tino should be back, I hope. Barnes should be back. So a few people should be back fitter in 2 weeks' time and having that time away. I'll tell you what, as Roy's pointed out as well, if we've had all these players come back and we've had some people have good games, if we start the West Ham game with Dan Burn at left back and he's dropped Tino, and Trippier comes straight back in, it's a big call from Eddie there. It's a big, big call, and it's something that he has to rest on. If he's going to stick with the team he tries and trusts, after Hall's had a really good game, after Miley looked really good, Anderson looked really good, Sean's looked poor, and that's not all his fault. He's injured. Be brave enough to drop him. Be brave enough to say if he needs a surgery, I'm sorry, send him now. Who cares? Like, what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, I know that we've got 10 games to play, but I'm sorry, if Sean needs a surgery or whatever, send him. Just thanks, Sean. Get that sorted out. Same with Botman. I know it's not great, but if he needs a knee surgery, get it done. Get it done, because this is the time of the season where we can just go, you know what? Thanks for we're not in any cups now. It's 10 cup finals, which is we said this too many times now in our history, where the last 10 games are 10 cup finals. If we can get a Europe place, then that'd be fine.
Yeah.
What could have been? That's the most frustrating thing. What could have been? It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah. We'll nip into some comments and see what people are saying. Holly says, I think our lads put up a reasonable performance against the World Club champions. 2 deflected goals, a lot of teams get battered. I wouldn't say it was reasonable, though, Holly. I'm still disappointed with yesterday's performance. If I'm honest, we didn't do a lot in the game. And Man City didn't get out of second gear. That's the thing.
No.
That's the thing. That if they wanted to really have battered us, they could have. They just had possession. And we've seen this sort of possession against us before. And who was the man in charge? Yes, we know who that man was, Steve Bruce. And look, I'm not comparing Eddie to Steve Bruce whatsoever, but that was like watching a Steve Bruce performance yesterday, and I've got to be honest with that. If people don't like me being honest, then that's fair enough. But I would rather be honest than sugarcoat it. Because at the end of the day, it's not a performance that I'm going to sugarcoat and say, yes, we were hard done by. We weren't hard done by. We got exactly what we deserved. Nothing. Kicked out the cup, and and that's the way it goes. Brian says, I'm still fuming about yesterday's game. Yes, we expect to get beat, but Dan Burnett left wing back, how's tactics are a shambles and he's completely out of his depth. I mean, yeah, Dan Burnett left wing back is just crazy, 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 isn't it?
I mean, we were saying it yesterday. Some of the best left wing backs in the history of football, people like Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
Dan Burnett, I don't know if he's in the same conversation as Roberto Carlos. I'm not sure. What's Chat's opinion of that? Does he get in there? Obviously not. And it's mad. And like I said, what's frustrating is that within 3 or 4 seconds of Lewis Hall coming on, he looked phenomenal. He did one of the Man City players for pace, turned him inside out. He put a really good ball into a forward area. He was getting, we looked a bit more defensively sound when he came on. Funny that, because it's actually his position. And it's just kind of like, you can't tell me that this, yes, okay, all right, I've heard stuff about his attitude and stuff, but players in the past have had attitude problems and been good players. Do you know what I mean? You can work with it.
Yeah.
People might not know the whole story with Maxi, but Maxi had a lot of behaviour problems. He would go to France whenever he wanted. He would turn up late for training.
Yeah.
He would miss training when he wanted. That's why Eddie got fed up with him, because he was being, he was not doing what he should have been doing at times, and that's why Eddie wanted him to leave the club, and mutually. But yeah, it was kind of like, this isn't Maxi FC, it's Newcastle. So I understand that from that point of view. So you can work with a player with behaviour if you need to. So that shouldn't be a problem. Eddie's kind of alluded to is not ready defensively. He's not ready here and there. I mean, look, Chelsea played him against Man City in the past. He looked pretty decent. We played him against Man United, and I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. And again, we played him for a quarter of a game yesterday, and he came off the pitch as one of the highest rated players I would give if we did ratings, because he had endeavour, he had pace, he was doing things that were nice defensively. He's still young, yes, but I'm sorry, if we're playing West Ham in 2 weeks and this 2 weeks isn't being used to kind of integrate him into our system after that performance, then Eddie does need to be questioned. I love Eddie Howe. I'm not, we're not jumping on some sort of bandwagon saying we want him out and hound him out like other managers. It's not about that. We're not Ashley. It's not anti-Ashley and all this rubbish. We've been through that. That's in the past. Steve Bruce is in the past. Pardew's in the past. All this stuff is in the past. It's fun. I still, the reason why we're pissed off about losing to Man City is because of Eddie Howe. That is something that tells you everything about how much he's done for the club, that we're annoyed that we haven't got anything out of Man City at the Etihad. So that's fair play. That's him giving us some sort of hope. The problem is that him and the players aren't quite where they were, and that's what you need to look at, because if he wants to get better and better as a manager, which I hope, this is what we want. No one wants to be slagging us off. I know people say that some of us are negative, Roy and all this, but he tells you himself he wants the club to win. No one wants us to lose. It's not fun for us. It's boring losing. It's dull. We've done it enough. I enjoyed the championship because we won every week. It was fun to actually win. So it's one of those where I don't want, I want Eddie to be here and I want him to do well. But at the end of the day, if he keeps making silly decisions that cost us games, there's only one person that pays for that, and it's the manager. No matter what team you play for, if you keep making silly mistakes that cost the team, it always falls on the manager, and that's just how football is. And if you keep ignoring performances from him and Miley and Anderson and whatever, and keep playing people who you think have done you a good job in the past, and you keep losing, that is on the manager. You can't hide from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mighty Max says Bruno was well and truly paid off. Yes, he was. After the game, he put out a tweet, and it doesn't look good when Bruno's putting out a tweet like that. He's off to Brazil now to play for them. But look, if we want to seriously keep Bruno, I think in the summer we've got to get European spot. If we don't, then I think he'll be off. If I'm honest, after reading that yesterday, and the owners might see that and think, "Wow, hang on a minute, this isn't what we want to hear." So we'll see what happens.
I think it's one of those where if we get if we get 0 Europe, as in like 0 at all, do you really think he's here next season?
No.
Much as I hate to say it, you could maybe say to him like, "Look, we've got in the Europa League or whatever. We're gonna blah blah blah, buy this player, get this, people coming back. Maybe there's a project there for him to stay for, but it's a big sell. We've sold him on getting Champions League and all this. That's why he came. We've sold him on this big idea of what the club will be. But players aren't patient anymore. That's not a slight on Bruno, but Bruno has a small career. Every football player has a small career, and they want to win trophies. And he's not being horrible to Newcastle. But if someone like Real Madrid comes in for him, what are you going to do? You're going to say no.
Yeah. He's got the release clause, so he can say, yes, I know if he wants to leave. And if they come in, he isn't going to stand there and say no, is he? He's going to go, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Ian Fleming. Mary says, evening trolls, Tony and all chatters. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all who's celebrating. Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, Mary. And is it a happy day though after yesterday? I'm still stealing over that performance. Mad Max says, take my fan hat off and just seeing it as it is. A long-term investment, just got to bide our time. Shit for now, but we will get there. Yeah, I think that's fair enough comment. Yeah, I mean, but we'll get there eventually. Mark Douglas has put out a tweet this afternoon saying, oh, well, we can't spend much in the summer. Well, look, journalists, I don't think know what they're talking about half the time. And look, this FFP thing is starting to pay a lot of people off. And it's starting to send me a bit round that way because I look at it and think, what's the point of enjoying football when you can't enjoy it because they keep coming out with these things like FFP and you've got to be careful what you spend so you can't really compete and say, what's the point of football? It's going to take the enjoyment out of football eventually. So, it's just getting absolutely ridiculous. But I think this journalist, Mark Douglas, has just put out there, and if he's doing it for a story, then I'm sorry, but it's the wrong thing to do. But I think we'll have much more money to spend in the summer. Plus, if we did have to sell Bruno in the summer, or if Bruno did go, if we didn't get Europe, add Bruno's fee, obviously you times that by 4, I think, with the FFP, so that would make it 400 million. Or is it by 3 you times it? I can't remember now. I think it's 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then add together, you've got the Selak sponsorship, you've got the Adidas, you've got the Champions League. We could be pushing towards 500 million. So technically, we might not be in a bad place in the summer. So don't take notice of these journalists when they're putting shit like that out online because, that's what it basically is. Because they don't want to see us succeed. That's why.
Well, you remember Luke Edwards? Was it Luke Edwards who said we can only spend 40 million or something and then we put 60 on Isaac? I think it was like 2 days after he put that article out. we popped 60 million on to Isaac. So, yeah, these people, they don't know nothing. They, it's like some of these... who I'm talking about here. There's some people on Twitter who claim to know, blah, 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 and they're always wrong. They're always wrong. They're always wrong. It's just, people who pretend that they're, got all this inside info and stuff like, yeah, some of them do generally. Yeah, some people do have genuine links to the club, and they do. And I wouldn't share things unless I had it confirmed by people I trust. But I'm not out there claiming that I'm in with the club and blah, 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 sending me information. where these people do. This is someone who, I'll be careful here, they work for the club. They genuinely do work for the club. So if they share something and they're happy for me to share it, that's the only reason. It's not because I pretend to be this almighty, all-knowing person. If they share stuff, it's normally been correct.
Yeah. Brian says we are literally Bournemouth, and apparently how wants Kelly, a guy who's been injured every season for 18 games. I mean, yeah, I see where you come from on that one, Brian. I've had Bournemouth fans speak to me and say, look, Eddie Howe has a certain ceiling, and they reckon he's hit that ceiling. They said if you watch when Bournemouth went down, but I still say Bournemouth going down was a lot to do with Ryan Fraser, because all he wanted was Ryan Fraser to sign a 6-week contract to help them get through them games. And because he refused to do so, it ultimately hit Bournemouth hard. So, it's... Yeah, so you can't pin it on Eddie, I suppose. But Tiger Studio says, when Eddie Howe leaves, I hope Eddie and the Clappers will F off with him. Don't need them supporting our club. That's fair enough. That's your opinion, mate. Absolutely. Afternoon, Tony says, Bia, good afternoon to you, mate. I hope you're well. Guys, we've got 32 in the chat, so do smash those likes. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. And if you're new to the channel, do hit that subscribe as well. You can't see that, Troz. You get called a traitor, says Ian. Predator says, afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, PD as well. Pete Proudlock. Well, then go ahead to those people I know who I am and what I stand for, says Troz. Do you know what? The thing is, you're entitled to your own opinions. I know there's people out there who don't like it when people share their opinions. Roy shared his opinions today on Twitter. He's had a lot of stick for it. Even somebody's been as close as to being racist. Let me get one thing straight.
Grow up, man.
Racism should not be happening, and that is absolutely disgusting. Whoever that person is, obviously Roy should report them by rights, because at the end of the day, there's no room for racism anywhere whatsoever. It shouldn't be happening. And Roy is a lovely guy. He's a genuine bloke who wants the best for our club, like we all do. And at the end of the day, no matter what opinion somebody's got, you don't need to bring race or anything into it whatsoever. So whoever you are, if I was you, I would take it down, because it doesn't belong in this world. Let's be honest.
100%, mate. Grow up. Grow up. It's a person with an opinion, man. If you want to debate that like an adult, then cool. That's what we're here for. We're here for debate. We all love Newcastle. That's why we're here. Apparently, we all want the best for Newcastle United. Allegedly, it gets boring. This stuff. People are allowed an opinion. If it's what you don't agree with, then that's fine. But give back your points, your opinion, hey, this is what my riposte to you're saying that. That's cool. Not, oh, well, you're this, so that's why I disagree with you. What's that got to do with anything? What's colour of skin got to do with your opinion? Nothing. What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Act like an adult. If you want to debate it like an adult, do it that way.
Yeah. Well said, Paul. Well said. BS says, are we free to criticise Bernardo, or is he still better than Paolo Maldini? Well, Derek's not in the chat. I mean, look, as I say, when I said last night, when we were 2-0 down, we should have gone for it. Derek didn't like when I said that. But unfortunately, I was just being honest. And, yeah, as I said, if we'd have got walloped, so what? But at least we would have gone down fighting, and that's the main thing, Tiger says, Tony is stuttering. Internet was away a bit at the start, but it's sort of settled itself down now, so I don't know, maybe there's some interference somewhere. Paul Gardner says, Burn, Longstaff, Lascelles, Pants team selection was pants. Yeah, it was. But again, I don't know if anybody noticed at half time, well, when the second half was due to start and you saw the players come out the tunnel, did anybody see Longstaff limping like mad? Because I did. He didn't look fit at all.
And this is the thing, isn't it? This is where, as I said, this is where Eddie needs to be questioned, because you're gonna, it's like the Gordon thing when he got injured. It was obvious. He's put his thumb up to the bench. No, I'm fine. I've got my hand up. No, you don't decide that, Gordon. If the bench think you're unfit, they take you off, mate. Any player, if you ask them if they want to play and carry on, what are they going to say? Of course I'm fine. They're not going to turn around and go, yeah, I'm injured, get me off. No, every player wants to play on that pitch. And this is the thing, we're playing players on injuries, or, we've had a lot of muscle injuries or stupid things that have happened this season in particular, where I feel they could have been avoided. Bringing Joe back so quick, after he got injured, and then he got injured within 10 minutes of coming on. Murphy coming back after his arm, and then he's pushed and the arm comes back out. It's stupid stuff out where you're just thinking, like, all right, maybe you could claim it's bad luck, but it is bad management of players. If Gordon wasn't, he said before the game, Gordon is 100% fit to start this game. No, he bloody wasn't. That was not Anthony Gordon, no. 100%. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. So if he's not ready, don't risk him. It's Man City. We get it. Like, if we win at Man City, it's a ridiculous result. We get that. So don't risk him. It's pointless, because if he, luckily I think he came away with no extra injury, which is fine. But, you're risking that happening. You're risking an injury. You're risking something. And then, if Gordon's out, then what are we doing then? So it's just these stupid decisions where you just, you're getting yourself in trouble for no reason. Botman's another one. He didn't, he hasn't looked fit for a while now, and we know how good he can be. And as soon as he hurt his knee in the game, Isaac was telling him to get off the pitch, and he wouldn't listen. Again, you got to take that decision out of his hands. They did finally get Kraft on for him, but it should have been like that. Right, get yourself ready. Lascelles, come here. If you're the I think he's captain, wasn't he? Tell Lascelles, tell him to get on the floor. That he's not moving. Like, you're the captain, tell him to get on the floor. He doesn't move if he's going to aggravate that knee anymore. Kraft's coming on for him. It's that simple. If he wants to moan, I don't care. Get him off. These are the things where we've heard it too many times. We keep playing people on these injuries, and this has been the big thing of the season. And the thing is, we get all these players back next season, let's say. Problem is it going to be the same? Just because everyone comes back next season, do we keep these all fit? Because if it's the same team and the same mistakes being made, we're going to have another 11 out again, aren't we?
Yeah. Absolutely spot on there, Paul. Tiger says, honestly, if this was Bruce, we would be protesting, etc. Just because how got us top 4. He should be immune. No, right now, his performance has been embarrassing. I mean, yeah, look, Paul touched on it earlier and I've touched on this for a few games now. When you've seen, when we lost against Chelsea, lost yesterday, the camera pans on how he looks lost on the touchline. He looks absolutely lost. And it's like, he's like a rabbit in the headlights, like, oh, what shall I do now? And, and it's just like, make the changes. And he just doesn't seem to have this plan B now. Now, Eddie is supposed to have learned off all these top managers. Well, what's he learned? Because we ain't seen what he's learned, and we're not seeing it. We're not seeing him from learning from them. So, I'm just kind of thinking there's something not right behind the scenes there. Something's not. Is there a split in the dressing room? Because I thought on Monday some players down tools. There could be a split in the dressing room. Nobody knows. If there is cracks starting to appear, then that'll have to be rectified rather quickly, because if not, the season's going to end up drizzling down. I mean, look, luckily enough today, West Ham had that second goal choked out on injury time. So they're only 4 points ahead of us now. But with Fulham winning yesterday, they're now 2 points behind us. Chelsea's just behind us by a point.
Game in hand.
Now, on the day we play West Ham, if we lose that game to West Ham and those teams win, we'll end up being 12th place. after the West Ham game. Being the bottom half of the Premier League. I mean, obviously they're off to Dubai, so I gather all the owners will probably meet up, no doubt. No doubt the Rubens and the Manda and Miadad will meet up with Yasser, and they'll probably have a chat. Who knows? They may have a meeting with Eddie Howe. We don't know. They might say to Eddie Howe, you've got to beat West Ham. If you don't beat West Ham, you're out. Who knows? Because, at the end of the day, we know Manda likes Eddie, but it's not up to Manda. PIF are the majority shareholders. And if they turn around and say, we've seen enough, because Saudis don't mess about with their investments. And the thing is, this is an investment. And I've seen it on Twitter where people are saying, oh, well, the Saudis aren't interested no more because they don't bother. You don't see nothing. Well, I'll tell you what. Go back, go and watch the Amazon Prime video. Go and watch the series and listen to what Yasser Al-Rumayyan had to say on that situation. The Saudis are very much interested. All Yasser said was, yes, I'm chairman, but I'm always based in Saudi. But that is why he's got all these people in place to make the decisions in the club when he's not around. And he said that. And he said that in that Amazon Prime. So I suggest the people who are coming out with these stupid remarks that the Saudis aren't interested, go back and watch the Amazon Prime. And then you'll see it for yourself. And that's why he's got all these people, the likes of Darren Eales and everybody, because we're a proper run club now. Not like under the old ownership where we just had that Mr. Penfold, Lee Charnley in the back room and nobody else. We had no commercial department or nothing because, we had all the same sponsorship from one bloke. Mary says, who did Tonali put a bet on yesterday?
No, trust me, they care. The Saudis care. They really do care. They've not invested. Yes, it might be minimal compared to another club, but they haven't invested money and time into a club to get no payback. No, they've still pumped a lot of money into the club. They've done up a lot of stuff for the club. They've put investment into the club. We've spent 300 million on players since the takeover. That's a big investment. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, these guys haven't done that to finish 12th. They haven't. You're joking yourself if you think they've done that to finish 12th in the league. They were talking about. I know they're not talking about tomorrow, but they're talking about finishing top of the league. They're talking about winning stuff. This is an ambitious group, and there's things that are holding them back, and it's not just us. It's we all know the things on I'm bored of hearing the words now. We all know the things with financial fair play and all that rubbish. We know that exists, and it's just there to stop people from spending and allow the same people to keep spending and spending. They are updating it. We'll see if that gets better with the update of the financial rules. But look, that's the thing. They're not going to. My worry is that if we do have a big amount of money to spend in the summer, or any amount of money, the thing that company are going to think about is, do we trust Eddie Howe to spend this money again, or do we have to get someone else in? And that's how they'll be thinking. That's not me as a fan saying that. That's just me knowing that these people are a company. They don't care about our relationship with Eddie Howe in the nicest possible way. If we hated, I don't know, let's think of someone. If they got in Mourinho, for example, right? We all don't really want that. He's not the most positive of managers. I'll tell you right now, if he was winning stuff or getting decent results, but we hated the football, but he was doing good numbers for them financially, do you think they'd care about what we thought? Not for 1 second.
No.
They wouldn't care for 1 second. And it's that simple. I know that's not nice, because it's obviously we care about the club and we care about Newcastle, and we want owners that love the club, but they don't. They don't love they love the money. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda and stuff might love the club. That's great, but they're not the owners. Do you think the Glazers love Man United? Of course they don't. They love the money. So It's one of those where, if Eddie Howe isn't doing the job, they'll sack him. If Mourinho wasn't doing the job, they'd sack him. If Pep Guardiola for some reason decided to come and support, be a Newcastle manager, and he wasn't getting results, they'd sack him.
Mm-hmm.
It's how football is.
Man City fans have had their say at times about Pep Guardiola, but you see that City fans jumping on top of them saying, "Oh, you can't say this about Guardiola. He's our more successful manager." No, because they know at the end of the day, when criticism's rightly deserved, it's deserved. Simple as. I mean, Tiger's come up with something that I've actually floated on mentioning as well. He says, if we have any hope of Europe, sack Howe, bring in Mourinho. He's got 10 games, sort this out, and get Europe. Players will be up for it then. I mean, I've said something similar to this. Now, I said, if they got rid of Eddie Howe, then I would say, yes, get Mourinho in and say to him, right, there's 10 games there at the end of the season. See what you can do till the end of the season. If you do a good enough job, we'll extend your contract in the summer. Now, I know everybody says his football's not that great, Mourinho's, right? But watch, see, he doesn't come to Newcastle and play a different brand of football that everybody's not expecting. And we'll be like, wow. But the thing is, Mourinho's a serial winner. You know, he won the Conference League with Roma.
Yep.
He's won trophies all over the place, apart from obviously Tottenham. He didn't win any trophies there. But look,
just a running joke about Spurs, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, if the owners decided to part company with Howe and they brought in Mourinho for 10 games, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know, but I can tell you now, if Mourinho was the manager, the likes of Longstaff, the likes of Lascelles, the likes of Jacob Murphy, maybe Almiron, maybe Kraft, would all be gone in the summer. Absolutely. You know, but I mean, look, I've said this for a long time. I'd like to see Eddie Howe succeed and bring trophies, but I've got to look at it now and think, is he going to be able to? That's the thing, you know, that is the thing. And I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But, you know, we're still on the fence on that one at the moment. But guys, I've got 38 watching and we're 15 likes. So if you can smash those likes, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you. It just helps the channel as well. And if you're new, hit that subscribe as well. Thank you very much indeed. Bia says we had really close league game the other week. We should never have changed the formation against the world and European champions. Yeah, absolutely, Bia. I mean, look, we only lost 3-2 to Man City at St James's Park. And you're absolutely spot on. We should have just gone with it. But, you know, as I say, I suggested that Derek going for it after we're 2 down, and Derek didn't like that. And I thought, well, yeah, but did it matter if we got hammered? At least we've tried.
Bruno Fernandes with a nasty challenge there.
Yeah.
Ref doesn't look he's going to do anything about it, of course. Why would he?
No, and he's laughing about it as well.
Yeah.
Blakey says, Eddie's not an elite manager. He's done a great job for us, but time to bring in someone who knows what it's like to win a trophy. Or do people want to settle for mediocrity instead? What do you say about that one, Paul?
It's one of those, isn't it? It's a funny one with Eddie. You know, like I said, he's proven himself to be really good in some matches. Like he's had some phenomenal performances from the team. You know, we can't forget that. And I know I'm not harping on about past stuff, but we have had some phenomenal games under Eddie Howe. We have. You can't deny the fact he has had the team playing at some phenomenal, you know, the 2-0 at Arsenal. That's one of the best performances I've seen from us in a long time. The 1-0 at Man United, I know it should have been more goals to us, but we walked them off the pitch. We were that good. We were phenomenal. I mean, the Man City game, yeah, all right. De Bruyne is different class. It is what it is. But we were really good in parts of that game. You know, we can be a very, very, very good team. And I just wonder whether, I don't know if this is the fact or not, I don't know, but I do wonder whether the owners will be, you know, look, we've had a lot of injuries, give them a full squad, give them some players, but with the, you know, with the definite of if we do not achieve in this as in that next season, then that will be it. Because if you have a fully fit, fully round to go, full squad with new additions, people go in and whatever, and he still doesn't do the job, then that's when he needs the real questions. But again, there's lots of question marks there. Playing the same squad for those 10 games in a row, pretty much, when we had all the injuries. Him saying we had no one else. Technically, we didn't, but we did have people who could have played. We could have, as much as it would have hurt, just drop the Spurs game. Who cares? Just put the kids out and then go into Milan with a fully fit, but at least a fitter, fresher squad to give yourself a chance there. It's things like that cause the question for Eddie Howe. His in-game management at times is poor, and then there's other times where it's been phenomenal. He's a very hot and cold manager at times. Every manager's like this. Managers get things wrong and right. Of course they do. The problem is at this moment in time right now, his decisions are going one way rather than the other. They just keep being wrong too often. And the problem is, as I said already, if you keep getting decisions wrong after time, the owners won't wait. That's the thing. They just won't wait for it. They will, as someone just said, they'll want an elite manager. And Eddie Howe, as much as he's done wonders for the club, and I thank him for at least giving us some bloody hope. And I love the fact that we're pissed off about losing to Man City. I love that. I love that we're feeling that, because that's thanks to his inspiration that we actually feel annoyed that we haven't got anything out of Man City. So that is down to him and down to some of the players. So I thank them for that, because they have given us a bit of hope. So I will always thank them for that, no matter who is our manager in 10 years' time or whatever. I'll always have a fond place in my heart for Eddie Howe. But every manager has a time. Kevin Keegan, there was a time for him to leave. We all love Kevin. How much we talk about Kevin Keegan? But there was a time for him to go. Bobby Robson, absolute legend of the club. Brilliant manager. Love Newcastle and now. But when he got sacked, you can't deny that it was time to go. As much as that's not, it's not very, that's just how it was. The results weren't going his way. And he'll always be a legend of the club. And he'll always be, look at how fondly he's remembered still to this day, Bobby. But he still got sacked.
Yeah.
So no one is above being sacked in any club. If Man City weren't doing what they were doing right now, do you think Man City's owners would wait around just because Pep Guardiola's in charge? Of course they wouldn't.
No.
So, as much as it is harsh, that's just how football is. I'd be, as much as I want it to happen, I'd be shocked if Eddie Howe's still here in 5 years' time. I hate saying that, but I just don't see it.
No. Pete says when 5 at the back was announced, we were asking for the defeat before the whistle blew for kickoff. I mean, look, the thing about Pep Guardiola at the end of the game saying, Eddie Howe, you don't usually play like that. It's like, that's not the way you play. If that's what was said, I mean, that's, that says it all, really.
Yeah.
It's just, afternoon predator, by the way. We played deeper. Those Chilean miners deflections are going to happen. Jesus, yeah. Tiger says, everyone keeps saying we lost to world champions. Best team in the world. Stop making excuses. I mean, look, we're not making excuses because it wasn't the fact. Did we show them too much respect? Or were we just trying to keep the score down as well? I just can't believe we just didn't have a go after we were 2 down. We should have gone for it, in all honesty. We really should have. Sefton says, I expected more, to be honest with you. The fight, bounce back ability, but it never happened. It didn't, Sefton. There was nothing there. This is what I'm saying. When they come out for the second half, I wanted to see fire in the belly from the Newcastle players. I was hoping that Eddie Howe sat them down and said, look, I want you out there and I want to see more from you and I want to see you attack them more. We saw nothing. So we don't even know what Eddie Howe said to them. You should be G'ing them up. Steve, who was on Chris's stream last night, he was reading off some teams that have been there, like Brentford and that. they've had more shots at goal than what we've had last night. That's shocking. That really is shocking, isn't it? Really. So it's not good at all. Blakey says, "Man, you never got out of first gear. People saying it was decent performance from us. Jesus, you think that was decent? We were never in the game. It was a training session." Exactly what I said at the start, Blakey. It was a training session for Man City. Yeah, we were never in that game.
And I'll tell you right now, let's say, a different universe, Isaac scores that chance. It goes to, would that be 2-1 or 1-1 when Isaac had the chance?
2-1.
So it would have been 2-1. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if we go in at halftime at 2-1, I bet you £1 million at halftime or within a couple of minutes into the second half, Grealish, all these players, they come on. Pep's changing it. Do you know what I mean? That's what he's like. He'll be like, no, we're winning this. Like, I'm not gonna get a 2-2. I'm not gonna, I don't want extra time. I don't want any of that. Like, he'll be making changes or making tactical things, or look at the bench they had. Alvarez, what a player he is. Oscar Bob, another great player. They've got, it's just an embarrassment of a bench that he didn't really use yesterday, really, until the end of the game. So it's one of those where if he wanted to, at any point, he could have turned the game on its head. At any point. I think that we were saying it yesterday, that at half time, he must have said to the lads, guys, Newcastle don't seem at the races today. Keep your energy levels up there, keep the possession, walk them off the pitch, and let's not get any stupid injuries. Don't over exude yourselves. And if we do lose a goal, then we'll change it up and we'll get a bit more endeavour. But never needed it. That's the problem. That's the thing that we're more frustrated about. It's not, we get it. And no one's saying that Man City are a bad side. I don't remember any Newcastle fans saying that Man City are a side to be, who's saying we're going to go down fashion 3-0? Nobody. I haven't heard anyone say that. What we're bothered about is the effort. That's what we're more bothered about. We're bothered about the endeavour, the fight, the grit, the determination that we've shown at times against teams like Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. We played teams like this and we have done well. That's the frustration. Some people are very angry than I am about it, which is fine. Some people want Eddie Howe to lose his job over it. I don't personally, but again, that's their choice. If they feel that way, that's cool. I'm happy to listen to that, because it's a healthy debate. That's what we're here for. Like we said already, we're happy for healthy debate, not stupid debate where it gets into personal attacks and stupid stuff out. It's not about that. We're all here because we want Newcastle to do the best. I remember being told off. I'll never forget this. I went to a game under Mike Ashley. I'd bought the top, so I was bad for that. I was wrong for buying the top, so I wanted a new top. I got told off for that in St James's Park. I got told off for celebrating because we scored, because I'm supporting Ashley, and I got told off for being happy. So I got told off for 3 things that day. Being a Newcastle United fan by another Newcastle United fan telling me that I'm not a real fan. So, it's weird when we fight with each other when we should be fighting against other people. We should be together against, it should be us against the world. And that's you need to get that back a bit. We've kind of lost that united front we had as a fan base, which is a shame, really, because when we had the takeover, I think it was the closest the fan base felt for a long time.
Yeah. We should be united as one, really, at the end of the day. Obviously, under the former, if we weren't happy with managers and we wanted rid of them, nobody would say boot to a goose. But I've always said, since this takeover started, when we got this takeover done, I've never seen so much toxicity amongst the Newcastle fans. It's been worse now than it's been under the previous regime, if I'm honest. And it's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of infighting that goes on. And I'm like, why? You should be happy. We've got better owners now. We've got owners who care about the club, owners who are bringing money into the club. They're trying to get the club places. And, everybody's like fighting against each other. Troll says, if House stays, I fear we'll get players like Solanke billing, which is a waste of money. I mean, again, something I did see earlier on, I said destroy earlier. we don't want the Slankies, we don't want the Billings coming into the club because they're not players that's going to take us to the next level. They are mid-table Premier League players at the end of the day. Billing is no better than Longstaff, you know. I watched Billing the other week against Forest. He came on, he got sent off, and his manager worked with him. So I don't want someone like Billing coming in. Yes, he's been a good player, but I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's world class. Because if he was world class, he wouldn't be at Bournemouth. He'd be one of the top 6 teams. So, and if we want to go to the next level, then we've got to make sure we bring those players in that are capable of getting us to that next level, not players from mid-table teams. Let me give you an incident of like a player that we were looking at. I mean, there's one player we looked at, and we were heavily for them, and his name is Alan Varela. Now, you may remember when I spoke about him on a transfer show. At the time, I think he was valued around about £4 million. Now, he plays as a DM and a central midfielder. He's 22 years of age. And we looked at his stats the last time, and they were pretty decent stats he had when he played at Boca Juniors. Now, he went to Porto for £6.9 million pounds. Since he's been at Porto, he started 21 out of 22 games this season. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists. Bearing in mind, he's a defensive midfielder or a central midfielder, if you want to put there as well. I mean, his pass rate per game is 90% accuracy. In his own half, 94%, 84% in the opposition half. And the thing is, this is a guy that we know Steve Nixon looked at. But according to people, apparently Eddie Howe didn't want him. Now, the thing is, why can't we get these gems through the door? We looked at Marcus Leonardo, another one. He went to Benfica, 18 million quid. Wolves have got a one called Joe Gomez. I know Foxy rates him really, really highly. They got him on the cheap. You've got Danilo, who's at Nottingham Forest, another good Brazilian midfielder. Why do we keep missing out on these? And if Eddie Howe is saying he doesn't want these players coming in, why doesn't he want these players coming in? Why does he rather play overpriced for English players when there is gems abroad who he can get in on the cheap and develop them into great players? If you look at Bruno, when he first came to Europe, he come from Brazil probably on the cheap. And look at him now. He's world class. So, we need to start looking at these players. Another one, Barker, I think, who's gone to Brighton. He went there for less than 10 million quid, a left back, an Argentinian left back. Another one, Foxy highly rates, So again, I don't get this, Paul. Do you? Why we're not getting these gems in?
Well, we were hearing rumblings of, with Ashworth and Howe and his cousin kind of having differences about this exact thing about transfers. That's why losing Dan Ashworth might actually be a good thing for the club, because if there's squabbles and stuff like that, you don't need that. You need people to be on the same page. We've all said we're a bit, I don't understand the whole thing of having family there, because that's difficult to be, to kind of be not kind of, if they make a bad call and you want to call them out on it and you're a family member, that is tougher. I get business is business, but I'm not saying, I'm not being funny, but are you going to be as hard on a member of staff that is your member of family? I find that hard to believe that you can be kind of, really impartial in that situation, because it could potentially ruin a relationship or whatever. So whenever we get this new person in, they need to be, in charge of it. That's their point. That's their point of the job, to be in charge of transfers. We were saying this again the other night, that the confusion that people have is that Eddie Howe is a head coach. He's not a manager. We haven't had managers in there. A lot of teams don't have managers anymore. They have head coaches. Then you have a director of football who's in charge of getting signings. That's what a lot of modern football clubs do these days. I mean, I'm sure that the head coach has a say, of course, but the director of football at the end of the day is the person who decides who comes into the club. They'll have a fit for what the manager wants. I keep calling the manager what the head coach wants. They'll have like have a style of play and whatever. That's part of their job is to talk to Eddie Howe and say, okay, if I've got my scouts out, who do you want? What sort of play are you looking for? And we can look for that. And he might say, oh, well, I need a right wing or whatever, blah, 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 who has good defensive, plays a couple of, blah, blah, blah. He can give them an outline of what they're looking for. And at the end of the day, it's up to the scouts to tell the head coach, the head of football, hey, this guy, Dean Smith, whatever, he's really good. Go and buy him. We've looked at his report. He'll cost you 10 million quid. It's worth a punt because he looks like a healthy player. That's what happened with Isaac. We had that backup because we'd scouted him. We were looking for Jay Pedro. It didn't happen. So we had the backup and they were like, oh, hey, get Isaac in because we had looked at him. So
yeah,
it's just how the club needs to run. If that's what they've picked, then that's what they've picked. If you're going to allow a person to run the club as a manager, as in like Ferguson and all that, then you're putting a lot of trust into Eddie Howe. And I don't, that's a big risk for any club, not just for Newcastle, for any. I'd say it was a big risk for, yes, Man City do revolve around Pep Guardiola, but again, it's a big thing. To give someone that much power in your club is a big deal. It's not a small thing to give someone that much power, who picks the players and picks who comes in. And, that's a big job. And Eddie's never going to have that job in the club, I don't think, because I don't think that's how. Can you imagine PAF allowing someone to run the club like that? I don't, personally. Anyone, that's another thing that might put off other managers. I don't know. Because some managers do like to bring in their own people. And some managers don't like working with director of football. We know, we've seen that before. Rafa was someone who, weren't a big fan of that. He wanted full say in every department. Hey, there's a manager who's free to sign up, Mr. Benitez. But no, you need it to work. You need whoever the new director of football is has to, you have to make sure that him and Eddie get on, or whoever the manager is. They have to get on because at the end of the day, it's their job to find the players, and then it's Eddie's job to coach them to win games.
Ian says Sheeran, given have said how's the man to take the 2 and 4, but he can't agree with that. Look, it's it and then Blakey says Eddie Howe's the stepping stone, like he's our Mark Hughes. I have said this for a little while. Maybe he is a transitional manager. Got to remember this is the first manager under the new ownership. But has Eddie Howe took this club as far as he can? And that is the big question. Has he took as far as he possibly can? Maybe he has. I'm not so sure. The Saudis are very eye tested, which is why they are trying to buy Roma and other clubs. Different, yeah. Mad Max says they've got their fingers in that many pies. They probably don't mind waiting until we have more wiggle room so they can achieve something. The Saudis. Look, the amount of companies they own, PIF, it's just absolutely madness, isn't it?
Bonkers.
Or what they've got stakes in.
But the media never seems to call out the boxing or the wrestling or the Formula One or all the other things. It's always Newcastle are doing things wrong and we're the evil ones because we're with Saudi Arabia. I've never seen a stream of Formula One being slagged off for the fact it's in Saudi. It's just so one-sided. It does my head in.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see all these people come out and slate us because we've got Saudi owners. But then, like you say, where's the... Why do they not call out the boxing? Why do they not call out the Formula One?
My favourite was Talk Sport. Do you remember Talk Sport being on a high horse about it?
Yeah.
And then the other week, whenever it was, Joshua faced, I can't remember what his name was. It was in Saudi Arabia, in the boxing. Yes. And Talk Sport had a whole week of, hey, Talk Sport are there. We're at Dubai. We're in the stadium. We're giving you punch by punch commentary from the. You're like, hang on, you were the one saying that we were horrible for supporting it, and now they've just completely crumbled. I thought it was a good old Talk Sport, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thing is as well, Paul, it's not just the fact, but we're so what Oliver Holt. He was one of the biggest critics of, but then he went to the first boxing match in Saudi Arabia and he was there. He was probably in a VIP section. He was probably getting fed and watered. He was probably in a nice posh hotel, 5-star hotel, getting all the perks and everything, being waited on hand and foot. Does he not complain about the Saudis then? No. Of course he don't, because he's got all the perks. And it's the same with the journalists who all and reporters and everybody who went to Qatar as well for the World Cup. Were they complaining about the World Cup? No, because we're sitting in their posh little hotels enjoying all our perks, all our freebies that we're getting. and that's why they're not bothered. Alex, there's 10 games to go, Tony. A new manager, that's what clubs do to avoid going down. Yeah, that's true, Alan. But, it all depends on how the owners are feeling. We've got to trust the owners at the end of the day. So we've got to see. We've just got to wait and see. Macca says, Jose would be offended to be offered a contract for 10 games. You don't disrespect greats like that.
Well, no, they don't.
What do you think about that, Paul?
Well, it wouldn't be a 10-game contract. Of course it wouldn't.
No.
If they're offering Mourinho a contract, it'd be a 3-4 year contract. It wouldn't just be coming for 10 games and save our season. It's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. Eddie Howe's not going to go anywhere until the end of the season. He's not. They're not going to sack him with 10 games to go. They're not. It's just not going to happen. We could lose all 10 games, and I'd still be surprised if they sacked him. I think any decision would come at the end of the season, no matter what. No matter what happens in the next 10 games, I think the decision comes at the end of the season. It won't, what would be the point in sacking anyone now? No, zero. There'd be no positive in it whatsoever. No one's going to touch us for. It'll just be, if he go, and again, I don't think this would happen. If Eddie went, it would just be, well, Jason Tindall's in charge until the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what it would be. So no offense to Jason Tindall. No one wants that. Eddie will be here until the end of the season, at least. At least. I'd be shocked if they sacked him now. What would be the point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it might be the case if we keep Eddie till the end of the season, then the owners decide in the summer, let's have a change, and then make the change over the summer when they can have a good look around who's available or whoever they can try and get in. Unless something goes horribly wrong and Eddie does go before the end of the season.
Yeah, well, put it this way: if they were going to sack him, it would have been today, because they got 2 weeks now.
Yeah, well, might not necessarily be today though, Paul, because it could wait till they get to Dubai and then all the owners could meet up and then they could have a meeting and then call Eddie Howe in personally and speak to him. And
you imagine that? Flew him all over. Flew him over there just to sack him, dear me.
Hey, funnier things have happened we've seen it before from clubs, so haven't we?
That's just very true. Yeah.
I can't remember which club it was now, but somebody got sacked just after a game and he had to. Didn't he get sacked when he was on the team coach? And he had to get off at the services and get a lift home. I can't remember what manager that was now, but I can remember it being all over the news. It was hilarious. Don't think it was that long ago either. I think you're talking probably the last 5 years, but there was one manager, he got sacked and he had to get off the team coach in the services and he had to wait for his mate to come pick him up. I can't remember who it was now. If anybody in the chat can remember that, I can. I can remember it. I can remember the story. Yeah. But I can't remember who the manager was.
Tigers come up with one when Gus Poyet got sacked on live TV. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember that one. No.
He was doing punditry. And then they were doing punditry and like, you've lost your job. It's on live TV.
Oh, brilliant. That. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? I mean, we've got one here in the start. Davey Porter, he says, take your blinkers off there, mate. He says, I don't know who's talking to us or anybody else, but he says there's no project under Eddie. And yeah, Bruno will be away, so why would he stay when he can see through Eddie? This is the point I've made, Davey. The thing is, what I've said is, if we lose Bruno in the summer, that's if we don't get Europe. I think if we get European place, Bruno may stay. All depends, though. But then we don't know. Our players complaining to the owners about Eddie Howe. We don't know. That's the thing. It's all speculation at the end of the day. I mean, Bruno keeps saying he likes Eddie Howe, but, does he? That's the thing we don't know, do we, Paul?
No, but I think that I don't think there's a negative in the dressing room. The big thing for me is when you start hearing the leaks, that's normally when there's a bad dressing room. And there hasn't been since a certain player went out on loan. Put the dots together, if you like. The leaks have stopped.
Yeah.
There was a certain player who was feeding information to a lot of people. Bless him. And now he can't because he's not at the club at the moment. So it's not really crying out to me as a team that's not happy with the manager. I think they are. I think they really like Eddie Howe. I think they like his energy, his ethos. I think there's a lot of want for Eddie, but I'm not questioning that they might question his tactics or whatever. But at the end of the day, that they are trying. No one's not trying. I don't think that would be another thing. I don't think anyone's not trying on purpose. I just think there's a lot of players. Like I said, I think there's a lot of things behind like injuries. There's a lot of people playing on injuries. There's a lot of people playing at 60%. Sean Longstaff he's playing like 40%, isn't he? He's not playing at 100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got Botman playing injured. It's just one of those things where I just feel that we're not ourselves right now. And I think there's a lot of time for Eddie, I think, in the back there. I think they'd be upset if he got sacked. I think the team would be upset by it. Put that way.
Yeah. Predator says, I think poor recruitment in the summer in preparation for the Champions League campaign was a big factor. Yes, it. And I remember.
Apparently
that was good about Varela.
Apparently, it was Steven Gerrard that got kicked off the bus.
It was Gerrard, was it? That's it. Yes, yeah. Villa manager, yeah. That's right. So yeah, I knew it was somebody, but I couldn't remember who it was, and it was Gerrard. Mac says he remembers hearing about Varela.
It's now 2-2, and it's the human fidget spinner Anthony with a goal.
Oh God!
And he's celebrating like it's the Champions League final.
Liverpool still win it, won't they? Hello, Alessandro. Hope you're well, mate. Jam Stasher says, I would go for Musiala at Bayern, but I'm crazy like that. I mean, yeah, he's a good player, Musiala. I mean, he turned England down, didn't he? Because he didn't think Southgate would pick him. He's a good player, but I can't see we're getting anywhere near him, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
Oof.
But go in. Oh, sorry. Wow. How is that not 3-2 to Liverpool?
Yeah. Tiger says, how's the type of person to rather have Billing than Rodri? I say that's a frustration right there, Tony. We see all these players that could have done well for us, but we don't have the power or voice to make the decisions. All we can hope is someone sees what we do. I mean, Paul Mitchell apparently wants the job as director of football. Apparently he's banging on the door to get that job. And there is rumours if he does come in, he's going to tell Andy Howe he has no say in transfers whatsoever. So that's going to upset the apple cart straight away. But I think Andy Howe, at the end of the day, I think he has too much say. And, it comes to the question, should family be working together in the club? Not really sure. I know you see it with managers. We've seen it with the Cowley brothers working together, but that's totally different. That's management level. But yeah, it's a strange one with Andy Pandy, as we call him. We hear that we have to have the right attitude and stuff. It's up to the manager or coach. But Gordon was a shithouse at Everton. Look at him now. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, he doesn't get a lot of game time for Bournemouth, Macca. He's mostly a bench player now for Areola. So, yeah. How good is Howe's nephew? He can't be that good, says Trolls. Well, apparently he's just been promoted, hasn't he, in the club? So, but that might all change if a director of football comes in. We're all sitting here blaming Ashworth, but he's probably thinking, I'm presenting all these players, how don't want them, then I'm off. I mean, look, we're just waiting for once this deal goes through, Ashworth goes to Man United. I'm expecting him to have a shot at the club after that, so we'll find out, won't we? Alan says, let's get J7's contract sorted and be able to bring in 3-4 players in summer. There is Euros, so transfers are not likely till later stages. Yeah, absolutely spot on with that, Alan. Yes, the Euros are there, so at least we've got a bit of football to watch after the season ends. Apparently, J7 wants a release clause in his contract as well, so we shall wait and see. Whether he gets that or not, I don't know, but a lot of players have them now anyway.
Yeah.
If Bruno goes, J7 most likely leave as well because they're best friends.
I don't think it makes any difference.
No.
No difference whatsoever.
10 games before relegation, is that what the owners want?
Well, for once, we're not going to get relegated. We're not.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Nowhere near relegation, thankfully. It's more about 10 games to either get into Europe and actually have some sort of positive end of the season, or you kind of have a damp squib and finish sort of like 12th, 11th, and then it's just kind of been a season of nothing. That's the thing. There's two ways this season can go. You either give it a fight, go into every game, win as many as you can, and then you just see where the cards lie, or you don't give it anything, and then we just drop into 12th or whatever, and then the season just kind of fizzles out. And I don't want that, because that'd be a shame, because the lads have had to come for a lot of hardship this season for definite. It's not all their fault. I'm not going to blame everything on injuries, but we have had a ridiculous amount, and some of them are our own fault, and some have been unlucky, stupid injuries, unlucky ones. Some have just been bad. There has been bad luck, and we've definitely used up our bad luck this year. Bloody hell. But I don't want that. I want the lads to give it. I'd love for us to finish in at least Conference League, just to give us something. Just give us something to kind of hold on to, because I'm not being funny. If we have a fully fit squad next year with new additions, I'm not being controversial here. The Conference League is a competition we can win. It just is. West Ham won it. No offense to West Ham, but they won it. So I'm sure we can. And it's the first sort of thing on our way. It's the first thing over the post. We've been haunted by this no trophy bollocks for so many years, and if we can just get that dog off his shoulder, who knows? It was what happened with City, wasn't it? City had such a bad pass of hit of trophies, and then was the Carling Cup their first proper cup? Was that right? The Carling Cup or FA Cup? I can't remember.
I think it was. I think they won the League Cup first. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think under the and then after that they kind of went on that role of just winning and winning and winning. And sometimes it does take that just to get past that post and understand what it is to win. How it is to win a trophy, and then players get used to that feeling. They get used to winning. They enjoy winning. Oh my life! Rashford's just missed an open goal. Yeah, get used to winning. Because if you win the Conference League, then you obviously get into Europa, and again, that's a competition I feel that you could win not easily, but you could win it. It's not against all possibility that you could win that competition. And then again, you're looking at Champions League after that. Yes, it's a few seasons, but I'd rather that than do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we'll do is we'll do the player ratings now. So have you seen the chat what you think about the player ratings? This is going to be an interesting one. So obviously we're going to kick it off with the man in between the sticks, and that is Martin Dubravka. I thought, to be fair, he couldn't do nothing about the 2 goals. He pulled off a few good saves in the game, which stopped us getting really embarrassed. So I can't blame him for the goals. For me, for the 3 saves he made, that really stopped us getting a walloping. I'm going to give Dubravka. I think I'll give him a 7. I think that's fair enough. What about you, Paul?
I agree completely. I think I've seen some. Twitter's a bizarre place at times. I've seen people getting mad at him for both of the goals that he could have done better. What world are some of these people living in? It's a horrible deflection for both goals. I don't know what do you want from Dubravka? Any goalkeeper would struggle with that sort of deflection. It's weird how people get so funny about it. And that save in the second half was phenomenal. That should have been 3-0, and it was an unbelievable save. It was really good. The replay made it look like, remember how good it was. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think he was absolutely fine. 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now, obviously, we played a back 5, a sort. So I'm going to hand this one to you first, Paul. There he is, Jacob Murphy, right wing back. Thoughts on him?
I thought he was one of the players that was showing a bit of endeavour, wasn't he? He did okay. Yeah. I thought he was okay defensively here and there. He was also trying a few bits here and there going forward. He had that cross in that kind of was a bit ahead of Isaac, so he didn't really get to it, which was a shame. But I think he was, out of a bad bunch yesterday. He was okay. So I think another fair 7, I think, for him, because I think he was one of the better players on the pitch yesterday.
Yeah. So what was your score again? Sorry, 7, did you say?
I think 7 is being fair, yeah.
Yeah. I thought Murphy was okay yesterday. He didn't, he done the best he could in that role that he was playing. I have to agree. 7 for Murphy as well. Thought he was good, and everybody else in the chat saying the same for Murphy. 7, 6.5. So we'll go into the centre backs, and I'll the first one I'll take is Fabian Schär. Schär, I thought, yeah, he was okay. Schär was at times. He put in a great tackle, got a yellow card for it, which I couldn't believe from the. I couldn't believe when he got that yellow card off Simon Hooper. I was wondering what the hell he was doing, giving him that yellow card. Didn't have the greatest game. But if I'm honest, he did okay for me. I'm going to give him a 6. I think a 6 is probably about right for Schär. Your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, I agree. I think he was okay. He wasn't awful. He kept to shape at times, and he wasn't really responsible for either goal, really. He's a bit weak at times, I thought. But the problem is the yellow card cropped him. That's the other problem. That's not his fault. That's the ref's fault. So that kind of, he probably has a different performance if he doesn't get that yellow. So it's hard. It's a bit mean to be too hard on him, because he would have gone into a few more tackles probably, because he went to go into, I can't remember who it was now. He went to go take him down, and he remembered. He was like, "Oh no, I'm on a yellow. I can't." So it's one of those where the yellow card, which was stupid, has cropped his game. So yeah, I think I'll go with you, mate. A 6 is fine for Schär.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So next to share, we had Lascelles. So there you are, Paul. Take it away, Jamal Lascelles.
Well, it was, everyone was kind of asking for him to come in instead of Botman, because Botman has obviously had a bit of a, he obviously looks injured. He was okay, wasn't he? He's made some mistakes for the goals, you know, and he made mistakes that could have led to goals. I've just seen that with Charles has said the same as me. At the same time, that he made some mistakes that could have been goals. Yeah, I mean, look, I think a straight down the middle 5 is fair for Lascelles. I can't give him any higher than that because he wasn't fantastic. He wasn't terrible.
Yeah, same from me, 5 as well. I didn't think he was great either. And Charles has rightly said it. The 2 mistakes could have cost goals. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he wasn't that he wasn't that great at all. So next one in defence, I'll take this one. Sven Botman.
Oh,
Right,
dear.
Sven Botman. Had another dodgy game as far as I'm concerned. He wasn't at the races. The own goal or the deflection he helped to go into the goal, because I think they were both credited to Bernardo Silva. Was poor defending. Should have been off a lot earlier with his injury. For me, didn't have the greatest game. Don't want to be too harsh on him, but I'm going to give Botman I think about a 4 because I think that's about right. I don't think he's certainly a 5 or a 6. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, he's clearly not fit, is he? He's clearly playing on that knee that probably should have had surgery. I think they've kind of they've tried all their best to not do the surgery, but I think it's obviously needs it because he's nowhere near the Sven Botman we know and what we love. He's not doing the usual things he would do. He looked caught out most of the time as well, which is unlike him. So yeah, a 4 out of 10 is very fair.
Yep, absolutely. Right, Paul, you've got the nice job of starting this one off with our left wing back. In that is, he's from Blythe, Dan Burn. Take it away.
You know what? That's the thing, though, and I agree with Roy on this. I don't even blame Dan Burn. I don't, because if you're offered to play, are you going to say no? Like, that's not my position. Eddie Howe's at fault for the position there. I mean, it's madness. It's absolutely mad playing him there. He's never, of course, we're not stupid. We know that Dan Burn is not a left wing back. Anyone with half a football brain knows that. So, look, yes, both goals have come down his side. A lot of Man City's attacks were coming down Burn's side. They had him on toast, which is obvious. But they do it to other players. They're not just doing it to Dan Burn. There's other people in the league that Man City would get past. So it's not just Dan Burn's fault, but he wasn't great yesterday. But again, it's hard to be too harsh because it's not his position. He's being played out of position. That's not all his fault. But for his performance, I can't give higher than a 3.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. 3 from me for Burn. Don't think he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. And put him a left wing back. Not the greatest to do either. Absolutely not. So for me, Dan Burn gets a 3 from me. Now we're going to go into the midfield now. I'll take Mr. Joe Willock. Joe Willock, yeah. I thought was anonymous. Part of him was the deflection for that first goal. I don't think he had the greatest game, in all honesty. I think it was probably, in honesty, I'm going to say probably the worst game he's had in the football shirt for Newcastle. Wasn't impressed one bit with Joe Willock yesterday. We know he's come back from fitness, but look, not good enough. 3 from me for Willock, and I'm probably being kind. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, defensively, he hasn't got it. It was his fault for both goals. I know people want to get on Dan Burn all the time, but it wasn't actually, neither goal was actually Dan Burn's fault for once. Yes, it's gone down his side, but Willock was the man to do the marking, and he hasn't done his job. And look, we say this often about Willock. He'll have a game where he's phenomenal, and he'll run the game, and it'll be like, oh my god, he's back. And then even when he's fit, he has these games where he's anomalous. He has a game where he's really good, and he has a game where he disappears off the face of the planet. And sadly, he left it for this game to be very anomalous. And then quite rightly doesn't get a good mark from me. So, I've given Dan Burn a 3, and I thought he was worse than Dan Burn, so I have to give him a 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're going to go to the next midfielder and give this one to you, Paul. Take it away with Sean Longstaff.
Again, though, this is the thing. This is the thing. You're going to hear this from me a lot, sorry. But again, it's not all his fault. It's not. You can't, I'm not trying to be over nice to Longstaff because he didn't have a good game. But again, I'm sorry, Eddie. It's on you, mate. If he's injured and he's having injections in his foot, he's clearly not playing right. He's not. He's not playing good games. He maybe had like a good tiny spell in the first 10 minutes of the game. I saw him get into a few tackles, which was a bit better, here and there. But after that, you can tell the pain he's got there. You can tell he's not playing right. And then, as you said, second half, you can tell him he's not walking. He's not walking right. He's not, and then he gets subbed off. Thankfully, I'm not being funny, but thankfully, because we're playing with 10 men with him, and it's not, and again, it's not all his fault. It's not. Like I said, is he going to turn around to Eddie Howe and say, no, don't play me? Of course he isn't. Any player who gets picked is going to want to play football. So I don't put it all on him. It's harsh. But yeah, look, he's clearly got an injury, but he wasn't great. And again, I have to be fair with everybody. He was just as bad as Willock, in my opinion. So I can't give him. I have to give him a 2.
Ian says Longstaff 5, decent first half, then disappeared.
I mean, yeah, the first decent 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then about a decent half, but.
Well, that was going to be my score for Longstaff, not 5, by the way, 2. He's just injured. He's not playing well, is he? And look, as you rightly say, Paul, it's not his fault at the end of the day.
No.
So can't really blame him for that one. Right, so let's complete the midfield with this man, and that is Bruno. So Bruno, look, he was okay in spells, but again, for me, we didn't really see a lot of Bruno, did we? We saw some movement from him, and he was trying to pull off stuff, which he was better than the other two in midfield. Let's be honest. Do you know what? Because he was better than the other two we had in midfield, and as I see, he did try to create a few things. I'm going to 6 with Bruno. I think that's probably about the fair scoring for him. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, look, he had endeavour. I mean, I loved that little move in the first half. I really liked that when he had some really nice close control, went past a few Man City players, put in a lovely ball. Isaac was on his heels, which is a shame because it was a lovely ball, actually. And Bruno was doing that at times. He was kind of spraying some nice balls. And again, just the team aren't up to his level yet, are they? They're behind how good he is. And that's a shame because he sees the game differently to a lot of our players. And you can tell that because it might look like a bad ball on TV, but when you replay it and look at it again, you think, oh God, that was actually a great ball. If they would have gone with a run or whatever, you can see what Bruno's kind of thinking. For me, I think his Ben's keeping him up at night because he wasn't fully Bruno. He's probably tired from just having a newborn, which I can't blame him for. It's one of those things. So Yeah, look, it wasn't a typical Bruno performance. He looked miserable at the end of it, which is fair enough. I think you have to be fair and give him a 5. I think he was just about an average Bruno performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're now going to go to the front two. So yes, a front two is if Sky had it down as well as a front two. So Paul, you can take this guy, and that is Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, and again, I don't blame him. I don't think he was fit. Again, like I said, I'm sorry to repeat myself so often, but again, I just think that he's been forced to come back quicker than he needed to be, out of sheer desperation. And it looked it because he didn't really do much, and then he got brought off, which is the right decision because he shouldn't have been playing in the first place, in my opinion. He wasn't having much impact on the game. I just don't think he was fit. Again, it's frustrating. Keep saying it, but again, it's another player that probably could have done with not being in the game. So I feel for him because I love the fact he wants to play. That's great. That shows his attitude, but he shouldn't have been playing. He shouldn't have been. So a 5 out of 10 for Gordon, to be fair to him, because he hasn't done anything horribly wrong, but he didn't do anything in the other way either.
Yeah. For me, we didn't see Gordon, to be fair, and I'll just give him a 5 because there wasn't a lot there. Predator says you two need to try and put Derek in his place on Chris's channel. His rose-tinted glasses are starting to get on my nerves. I love the bloke, but so funny, but seriously deluded at times.
Predator, I'm not going to spoil anything because this is going to be a crumb for the 10 o'clock show tonight. Trust me when I say this next phrase. 10 o'clock is a not to miss show. A not to miss show. There might be something on the show that you're going to, you'll like it. So please join us at 10 o'clock. Because it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm looking forward to 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and we're both on there at 10, so it's the mags on 5. So I'll so I'll take the next player, and that is Alexander Isak. There he is. Isak, look, he had chances to score. First one, he should have buried without a shadow of a doubt. In my opinion, a poor effort from somebody who cost 63 million quid. Second one, he went off target with it. We know he's not an out-and-out striker because he likes the ball handed to him. I don't think he's done enough in the game, backtracking, anything like that whatsoever. But look, because he missed his chance, I'm going to say a 5 for Isak. I think because I think that's probably about right for Isak. So I'm going to go on a 5 for Isak. Pratt says he'll be there. That will be fun. Mac says, is Paul no longer part of the other channel he used to be on?
No, I'm not.
There you go.
Don't want to go into it, but I'm not.
No. What's your thoughts on Isak then, Paul?
Look, I love Isak, but he's too weak at times. He really is. It frustrates me. He gets past the ball too easy. He needs to work on his strength over summer. No matter who our manager is, I don't care. He needs to bulk up a bit because he gets off the ball too easy. Players get on him and he just kind of he just gets pushed up. And that's why we miss Wilson. I know people will slag off his turning, but I tell you what, right now, Wilson holds up the ball amazing. He really does hold up the ball so much better. Obviously, because he's absolutely built, isn't he? So it's one of those with him. Yeah. Oh, that's so lucky from Liverpool. They've just got a big deflection. Wow. I don't know why you're celebrating like that, buddy. But it's one of those where the first chance when he had it has to go in, has to. But it didn't. And then the second half, again, it's a great ball, and he just doesn't. His first touch is bad. He takes it too far. The chance is gone when he's got to it. And it's just kind of one of those where this is where we're suffering not having strikers, because Isaac's been playing, and it's obvious that he could really do with a break, and not having Wilson fit, not having a third striker. If you're not going to trust the kids, then you don't have a third one. And this is the thing that I think Isaac's paying for that. It's not all his fault, again, to keep repeating myself, but again, he's not recuperating enough time, and he's not got the help from Wilson to kind of, okay, well, you've done 60 minutes, we'll bring you off, and then Wilson can do something a bit different for the opposition. I feel for Isaac, but I have to mark him on based off the game, and I don't think he did any, apart from that, he didn't do anything else. So a 4 out of 10 for Isaac.
Yeah. Then we had 4 substitutes came on the pitch. So of the substitutes that came on, I'll take the first one. That is Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall came on for Dan Burn. I thought Lewis Hall looked bright. It was like, wow, he is alive. He is real. He does exist. I thought he played really, really well. We saw some great runs from him. He troubled the Man City defence. For me, he was the bright spark. And look, although it was only a cameo for 28 minutes, where you could say 31 minutes, including the injury time, this might surprise a few people what I'm going to say about Lewis Hall here. He needs to be starting more, but not only that, I'm going to give him a 7 because I thought he was the bright spark when he came on. It looked like he had something to prove. And by God, did he not. What about you, Paul?
Well, I'm going to be even more lyrical about this guy.
Wow.
He gets my man of the match. He literally gets the man of the match from me. I thought he was incredible when he came on. I loved his endeavour. He actually calmed that squad. Not just him, the other guys did have an impact as well. But on that back five, because he's someone who genuinely plays in that position, it had that influence of a calm influence on the back. We didn't look like we were messing about as much, which was nice to see. And his endeavour was great. He was getting, like we say, getting forward, putting really good balls in. It was really great to see. And again, I hope that this is a wake-up call for Eddie Howe, because I'm sorry, this guy has proven himself again that he at least put him in for more than bloody 10 minutes in the future, Eddie. I'm not saying he has to start every game, but he's proved himself that he can do a job, right? He's proved himself more than enough. So if he doesn't start at West Ham, I want to see him on the pitch at least 60 minutes in, because I tell you what, he was 4.
Yeah, I can't believe that. He's better.
I'm giving him an 8. I'm giving him an 8. I thought he was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. He was the best player on the pitch.
Matey Max says, Tony and Paul, can you see Burns starting against West Ham?
Yes.
Let me just say to you, Matey Max, he will be starting. We know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's a knocking bet. I don't think he was that great, Lewis Hall says Predator, but he was hungry and looked up for it. But being on from the start, especially if you're going to play wing backs quicker, more skilled than will ever be in a 5. Yeah, well, that's fair enough, Predator. Yeah, so obviously we had obviously Lewis Hall came on. Also, obviously at the same time we had this guy, so you can take Almiron.
Again, I think it's proven that he's better as a sub, because he does give the opposition something to think about, and I like that about Miggy, that when he's a sub, it's someone that, with pace and endeavour, which is great, and the clubs do struggle when he's a substitute. But again, there's 2 separate times I can put on that game where he's done well, and then again, because he's too nervous on his weak foot, he hasn't gone with the first pass because he's not brave enough. Because Isaac would have been in with one of his passes if he bothered to get on his right foot, but he's too scared. He's too scared to get it. He did create a chance, to be fair to him. So, but again, it's just kind of like a few times where he gets too nervous to go with his weaker foot, and it's something that I don't know why he hasn't worked on it already. He's a professional footballer. I'm not saying he has to be perfect with both feet, but at least have confidence in the foot that you're not stronger with. And it's been his downfall, and it was his downfall in this game. So I think Miggy did fine when he came on, but that's the thing that frustrated me, that he had chances to do better with a pass, but would prefer to be on a stronger foot, which is So I think 6, I think, because he did create a chance.
Yeah. Him and Hall were bright on the left, to be fair. There was a bit more pace down there. And I've always said this about Almiron. He's better as an impact sub because when the other team's tiring, although City weren't tired because they didn't have to break sweat. But if there's a normal team that are tiring, he's a great guy to bring on at 70 minutes and say, right, go and run at the opposition, cause them some problems. Ian's gone for a 5. So I'm going to go for 6 for Miggy. Better as a sub, I agree, needs to be on the left, though. Yeah, I've always said that.
100%. He looks so much better on the left. He really does. It's as if it's his natural position.
Tristan says, David Ornstein thinks PIF will replace Eddie with Jose. Wow.
Well, if that's coming from Ornstein, then that's serious business.
That is serious business. Right, okay, so that's 2 of the 4 subs we've had so far. So I'll take the next one, and that is Lewis Miley. Miley came on, didn't have an awful lot to do. From what I'm trying to think, what Miley actually did in the game, but he put himself about. Couldn't do much about the result. Miley, for me, he done more in the game than Longstaff did, that's for sure. Like he did the other week against, he did against Chelsea. I'm going to give I'll give Miley a 6, I think. I think he was okay, Miley. So yeah, I'll be nice. I'll give him a 6. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, again, he just has endeavour, doesn't he? Again, just that youthfulness about him, which is great. He has that sort of guile I like in midfield. He was trying things, which again, I like to see that. That's the youth, the beauty of youth, that they're not scared. He's not scared of Man City. That's that thing of youth that I love, that, they don't care if you're, this big player that's won things. They'll just, whatever, like they'll just try it on. So I like Marty for that. And I think that he's someone that he'd be feeling a bit pissed off. I'll tell you that right now. I bet you. And he should do, because he's done nothing wrong and he's been dropped the minute that Willock has come back. And you know what? Fair play to him, because I think he's tried his best to kind of put a claim in there. And so he should, because he came in when we were in absolute dying and he did nothing wrong. And I feel for him being dropped like that quickly. So good on him. He had a decent-ish game. I think a 5 is more than fair. But it's someone I hope we use more of, because it's exciting to actually have these prospects in the club for once.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 4th sub to come on, there you go, Paul. It's Elliot Anderson.
This guy, I love. Anderson is such another prospect I really get. I really can't wait for him to explode onto the scene a bit more. Again, kind of, it's one of those where it's hard with the time he had on the pitch again, but he's done more in the game than a lot of our midfield did when he's come on. Again, he's got endeavour, he's got a bit of skill, which I like. He did fine in the game. Again, it's kind of hard to give him, a big score, because again, I don't know how fit he is, and it's another repeat of my catchphrase in this podcast today is, it's not his fault if he's being played not fit. That's not his fault. and there's a lot of things that Eddie has to answer for. So I think a fair 5 out of 10 for him again is fair. So I think he was fine, but again, it's just how fit is he and how much impact can he really have? If he's not fully fit, because I don't think he is yet.
Yeah. For me, Anderson just gets a standard 5. I thought he didn't do anything massively exciting, but he was there. He put himself about, and I think 5. He's not fit yet. He's got to get his match fitness up, so he's been missing for most of the season. So yeah, I give him a 5. Tristan says, Ornstein is saying the UK-based owners back Eddie Howe, so Amanda and the Rubens, but Piff they don't know. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. But if Piff decide they want to get rid of Eddie Howe, then it's 3-3 now. Rashford scored.
Whoa, this is going to penalties.
This is going to go to penalties, this game is, isn't it? I'm gathering it's Rashford because yes, it is Rashford. Saying that though, Kelleher's pretty good on penalties.
This has been a decent game, actually.
Yeah. If it goes to penalties, Kelleher's not a bad keeper on penalties. Plus,
yeah.
A couple of years ago when they played Chelsea and won on penalties, he scored the winning penalty, Kelleher, because apparently he used to play as a midfielder. So,
love it.
So he's quite good at penalties. 5 again, look busy and hungry. Hopefully gets back up to speed about Anderson. 5 from Splat for Anderson as well. Predator says no spoilers. Oh, sorry, mate. Look, he gets Man U. Sorry, Predator. You must be behind us or something on the. I'm watching the game. So we made our 5th and final change about 7 or 8 minutes before the end of the game. And I'll take this one. And it was Emil Kraft who came on. There he is. Emil Kraft. He just slotted into right back. He looked okay. Nothing that I could give him that he was really outstanding. I'm going to just give him a standard 5 because he wasn't on long enough to affect the game, to be fair. So I think a standard 5 all day for Kraft is about right. You agree with that, Paul?
100%, mate. Yeah, can't say any more than that. I agree completely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Predator says, I hate the Man U with a passion. Yeah, we all do, don't we? Tristan says, Tony said he doesn't know.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
Because I dislike both of these teams, to be fair.
Tristan says he doesn't know how long the Saudis price will put up with these results as he wants to have a top side as soon as possible. So let's see how they feel about our season, but our owner doesn't have patience. Okay, interesting. Kraft a standard 5, yeah, 5 for Kraft as well. Right, okay, Paul. I'm going to give you the next one. So this is the playing staff over. You've now got the job of rating this fella. Eddie Howe.
This is really difficult. I mean, I will never understand Dan Burn at left wing back. I will never, ever, ever understand that. I don't know what that thinking was with that tactic. I don't understand the Sean Longstaff stuff when he's clearly injured. I don't understand the Botman stuff when he's clearly injured. Et cetera, et cetera. I said many times already today, there's a lot of decisions that don't make sense because of the injuries. And he said it himself. It's not like we're making this up. He's told us these people are injured. He's literally said it himself. And yet he still starts them. And then they have bad games. And it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't be smarter than Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's a Premier League manager. He should be smarter than me. It's just that simple. He should know more about football than I know. But he doesn't. It's weird. Because I'm not. If I was a manager, I wouldn't be playing players that are injured. I can't describe it. Yes, he made the subs at 60 minutes, and that made a positive impact on the game. I think he was kind of forced into those changes a little bit more than actually meaning or wanting to do it. So yeah, it's a really funny one with Eddie Howe. His tactics weren't right; they were very negative. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't the best from them. So 2 out of 10 for Mr.
That
Howe.
doesn't surprise me. I wasn't impressed, to be honest, with the starting lineup. Gabe brought substitutes on, but again, he could have had a changed team if he wanted to. But the tactics were all wrong. It was like watching a Steve Bruce team again. And I'm sorry, guys, if you don't like that, but that's the truth. I'm slightly giving Howe a little bit better marks than what Paul's given them, but not much. A 3. There you go. Mighty Max says you're harsh, Paul. He's not harsh. He's just giving his opinion.
Look, I know it's more. Look, the biggest reason I'm giving it is because of those reasons I said. Like I said, it's more about like Dan Burn left wing back. Are you happy with that? Because I'm not. Are you happy with injured players starting? I'm not. So it's not. I'm not talking about Eddie Howe as a person or as previous stuff. I love Eddie Howe. If I was giving Eddie Howe marks over his years here, I'd be giving him an 8 or a 9. He's done unbelievable things for this squad, this team. Like I said, he's the reason that we're pissed off not beating Man City. So I'm not being, trust me, I want Eddie Howe to be the best manager. But just those things worry me. Like I said, the thing is with that, Dan Burnt left wing back doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. Longstaff playing when he's just said he's injured. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. Botman clearly being injured and still playing him. That's why I'm giving him a 2. Not because of me not liking Howe as a manager or wanting him out. No way near. I'm one of the people that will probably be called, in some circles, I'd be called a happy clapper. Trust me, I probably would. Because I try and find the middle of all arguments. I don't try and go too hard. I don't try and go too nice. I try and find the middle ground of every argument. And my problem with Eddie yesterday in particular was that. And that's why I may have been a bit harsh, but that's why I've said it. It's not because I want Eddie to lose his job or anything. I don't at all. But, it's something that does worry me with him. It does worry me because it didn't work and it was obvious it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, Trolls agrees with you at 2 as well. Right, and last but not least, the fans, the supporters. Now, what did we think of the fans? The fans sang their hearts out all the way through the game. They were even louder than Man City fans at times.
Obviously.
Yeah. They did well, the fans, to go there in the soaking rain, get absolutely drenched, to go watch that shower of shit. If I'm honest. And to be fair, they did well. They sang their hearts out. Look, the fans were top notch again for that singing, being there with the team all the way throughout the game. So I'll give them a 9. What about you, Paul?
I always give our away fans a 10. They're just incredible. We're the best.
10, yeah.
We are the best fans in the league. I know it's biased. I know I've got black and white glasses on. I don't care. You hear any ground you go to, who do you hear? Who do you hear the most in any ground?
Our supporters.
Who do you hear the most? We go to Anfield, you hear us over those frauds. You go to Old Trafford, who do you hear? Us. You go to Etihad, you hear us over the Chelsea fans in there. You go to Chelsea, you hear us over the Man City fans in there.
Man, you have scored again.
Oh, my life.
It's Liverpool. Diallo, who was on loan at Sunderland.
Oh,
and he's took his shirt off. So he'll be getting a yellow card now.
Oh, Liverpool. Well, there you go.
Oh, wonder if it'll be a Man City, Man United fair semi.
They probably will. They'll probably want Liverpool City in the final.
Yeah. Oh, it was a breakaway 2-on-1. Good goal from Diallo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Lee says 10 for the fans.
Yeah, they're just great. And, I'm missing not being a part of it as much at the moment. But my wife's not been very well, so I've kind of put my football on the shelf for a bit at the moment, just to kind of look after her. So yeah, I used to go to all the games. I didn't miss a game. I haven't missed a game for a couple of years now. I go to everything I can. So it's been tough not going, but you have to put his family first. So
he's been sent off.
Has he really?
Yellow, because it was his second yellow card when he took his shirt off.
You absolute fool! That's stupid. That
he's had to be escorted down the tunnel. He's give his shirt to a fan on the way out.
What a prat!
So if Liverpool scored now, Ten Hag won't be happy, will he?
That is stupid. What a dumb thing to do.
Yeah, he probably didn't realise, young lad, and so
yeah,
he probably forgot. And the ref's not going to sit back and not give you. Although saying that, in the game earlier today, the Chelsea game, which sorry, not the Chelsea game, the Villa game. Sorry, when they were playing West Ham. West Ham player got booked for kicking the ball away. Zaniolo done it for Aston Villa, and Jared Gillett didn't bother giving them a yellow card.
Mate, I tell you what, we could do another 2 hours on reffing in this country, honestly.
God, yeah, exactly.
It's so poor. It is so poor.
Yeah, the standard refereeing is terrible in this game, and in this country at the moment, it needs to be improved massively. Don't know how many minutes they're playing of injury time. Are they playing clock time? Because it's still on now, but yeah, maybe because of the Diallo celebration and everything like that.
Probably,
so
yeah.
But looks like it's Man U who are going through anyway. So 10-man Man United as well, by the way. Guys, it's been a great show. Great having Paul on. And obviously we're back on the American Magpie tonight on Mags on 5 at 10 p.m. UK time. But if you have enjoyed the show and you have liked what you see, please don't forget to smash that like Sean the Sheep does. It does help the channel up the search. So do smash that like. If you're brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come and be part of this great community we got here. Hit that bell notification if you want to keep up to date of future shows or any pre-records as well. I did put one out last night. If anybody didn't see it, you can always go back and check it out. My match instant reaction. Great show, says Trolls. Been a brill show, Tony and Paul. Cheers, Mighty Mag. Great show, guys. Cheers, Ian. Thank you very much. Great banter, everyone, says Mighty Mag. And Splat says, excellent show, Tony, as always. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. You too, Splat. Cheers, mate. Thank you. So that leaves me to say is remember the future is bright. The future is definitely black and white because I always say that at the end of every stream. That is my little go-to. I should copyright that, really, shouldn't I? At least it's spot on short night, Tony and Paul. Catch you both tonight. Yeah, you too, Lee. See you later. 2 class acts right there, says Alessandro. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Adios, says Mighty Mag too. Ian as well. But yeah, now we've got the international break. We've got a couple of weeks away from the Premier League. Let's just watch some England games. I'm at the next week. I'm at the cup final for the Newcastle women against #United at Kenilworth Road in Luton. So I will do a vlog on that. So keep an eye out for that. I may even try and do something live if I can from the ground. So keep an eye open for that one. There'll be some shows probably during the week as well. So do keep a lookout for that. So if you have hit the bell, you will be notified on that as well. So yeah, but no, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you again for coming on again, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime, mate, anytime.
And that is Man United through and Liverpool are out. So that is one trophy Klopp will not be winning in his last season is the FA Cup. So until then, see you later, guys. And how are the lads?